let's learn how to stand today in Tadasana. This is a very traditional posture that we use. It's called Samastitahi, where palms are forward. You can also have palms in, completely different name. It's escaping me at the moment, doesn't really matter. So either way, if you're in a yoga practice, at some point in time, you have come to stand, whether you start there, whether you end there, whether you're just there to transition into a lunging position or into some sort of a balancing posture, right? Very important that we learn how to stand. One of the things that I used to do and still do is that I lean forward just slightly where my toes are a little bit more weighted than my heels. I also have a very mobile body. Sometimes I don't realize that I might be sticking my lower ribs forward in space, right? Causing quite a bit of a bend in the back that I don't want, which is why my back hurts sometimes. If you've experienced that, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So when we stand, there's a couple things that we want to look for. We want to look for evenly weighted feet, meaning a little bit heavier into the heels. We want to feel that the thighs are lifting upward towards the pelvis. And I'm talking inner, outer, front, and the back, right? That affects how the pelvis moves. We also want to feel like the pelvis is being lengthened in the back of the body and that the lower belly is being pulled in and lifted upward, right? So pulled in, lifted up. That the low ribs are not sticking forward, but that they're connecting to this lower belly as well. Shoulders, we don't want those up here in the ears. We want them relaxed, and we want the collarbones to be broad, not sticking the chest out, a broadness in the collarbones. It translates different emotionally in the body, which is actually pretty cool. The arms, right, this hand position, forward or inward, it's up to you on how you feel and what feels good for you, or what your teacher is telling you to do at that moment. There are specific reasons why we would have the palms forward. So to begin, open up the feet a little bit wide, not quite shoulder width, right? I don't want to be toe mounds touching if you're not used to standing in this way. So give yourself a little bit of space, open the feet a little bit wider. I prefer a wider stance for myself. You're gonna look down at the feet. Make sure that the toes are facing forward, so facing towards me. And then this outer blade of the foot here is what you want to be even with the long side of your mat, or short side, I guess it depends on how you're standing. So when you look at the straightest part of the outer foot, it should be even with this. So we don't want toes to be turning in, we don't want toes to be turning out, we want toes to be facing forward, which can feel very weird in the lower body if you're not used to doing this. There's the ability to turn muscle, which moves bone, right? Like the upper arm, the lower arm, the upper leg, the lower leg. They can turn in opposite directions, so we want to make sure that we've got those facing in the correct way. So once you've got your feet here, make sure that your ribs are in. So we don't want to feel like we're back bending and like we're flaring. It would feel like the belly is coming forward. We want to feel like we're relaxed back in space here. So just put your hands to your lower ribs to make sure that they're not going forward in space, and then gently lift the 10 toes. If you feel yourself drop back in space, then you were not evenly weighted on the feet, mainly the heels. You would have had too much weight into the toes. And I will show you a side view of this. So now that we have the toes lifted, I want you to think about pulling up from the arches of the feet through the calf, through the front of the leg, through the side of the leg, and through the back, through the hamstrings. Once you activate those hamstrings, you'll feel that pubic rim rise up, low back goes down, giving you space. Then you'll start to feel a pulling in of the belly. Keep imagining that it is rising up to these ribs. There's connection there. Relax the shoulders. You can roll up, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then drop the hands, drop the arms. Without moving anything, drop the toes. That can be a hard one. So there's no shifting forward when we drop the toes. You can try this with the palms rotated forward. You will feel a little bit more work in the back of the body, mainly between the shoulder blades, and it's going to be lower. So this is standing. So if I show you a side view, toes pointing forward, I'm gonna make sure that my low ribs are not sticking out, right? So I'll keep my hands here. I start to lift the toes so you can see that my body just went back in space, right? So a lot of us stand this way, we're a little bit more forward into the toes, or even here where it's a little bit more subtle. So as we lift, we let the body go back in space. Naturally, because I'm so used to this, as I go back in space, my hamstrings turn on, my low back drops down, my belly pulls in and up. It's a quick reaction. It's something that you have to wait and feel. It's not always going to be quick if you're not used to standing in this position. Notice that the legs are lifting, so you might hear teachers say, lift the kneecaps or engage the quads. That's what we're talking about, the front side of the leg. The outer leg helps you to stand tall, so you do want to feel like this is rising up. These are also working in the back, again, for the lower back. So lifting the shoulders, squeeze the blades back, and then release the arms. So you just want to relax that squeeze that you have going on. Palms can face forward or inward, and without moving anything, release the toes. You should feel very tall from the crown of your head up, all the way down into your feet. I'm only 5 feet tall. I feel so much taller when I stand properly. So those are just a couple of tips on how to stand in our traditional Tadasana that we use to transition in between postures. We use it as a rest. It is an actual pose in yoga. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you again soon.